So let's get going. 5A right off the bat. Lawrence, a team that I like a lot, in a tight ball game tonight. They pull out a victory over Blackwood 43-40 at home. Their next round opponent is still to be determined. Burns is up 14 late on Nation 4, but that game is still ongoing. If you guys have a final score for the Burns game while we're going through this and you see it before we do, feel free to send it over to. I think it was 48-34 last time I saw it there, John. Burns had the lead. Sumter handles Woodmont easily 45-7. A game people thought might give them trouble, but Woodmont wasn't much of a task for the Gamecocks tonight. Big winners here. Gaffney travels over to D3 Stadium and beats Rock Hill 27-6, John. I know Lindsay had a couple big TD passes to Stan Ellis, and the Indians played a very, very good football game tonight to beat Rock Hill on the road like that. Dormant shuts out Greenwood 35-0. Spring Valley gets a late TD holds on to beat Westside 37-35. Clover all over Bowling Springs 49-14, and then kind of an upset that we kind of talked about last night possibly happening, John. Malden pulls the upset over TL Hanna in overtime 41-38.
Still surprising.
The Mavericks actually had a 21-point lead at halftime there against TL Hanna, so they almost blew it. They were able to hold on. John, just looking at the top half of the bracket there, what are maybe some surprises that jump out besides maybe that Malden TL Hanna game?
I'm still a little bit surprised on Lawrence. We talked them up a little bit, but I thought Blackwood was a pretty quality team. Even as basically a 4 seed coming in, or as an alternate seed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm impressed with Lawrence taking care of business tonight. And you got to respect what Gaffney did.
Yeah, Gaffney going on the road to Rock Hill and beating them by 3 touchdowns. That's a huge win for those guys.
We were, looking through everything last night. I'm going through my head thinking, Gaffney's going to be in trouble. Rock Hill can play. But yeah, huge win for Gaffney. And that's going to be a really, really fun game next Friday night.
Yes.
That game should be something between the Gamecocks and Indians.
Yeah, so John, let's run through this lower half of the bracket here, and then we'll kind of get into 4A, and then we'll kind of maybe go back and look at a quick preview of what we're going to see next week in 5A. Lower State, surprise, surprise, Dutch Fork wins 55-10 over Chapin. An upset that we kind of called also. Wando takes down Conway 30-21 tonight. Fort Dorchester, all over Lexington 31-3. Berkeley shuts out West Florence 46-0. Carolina Forest won last night 42-7 over Cane Bay. River Bluff 42-7 over West Ashley. Goose Creek handles South Florence pretty easily at 48-27. And a tough one for you guys, John. Summerville takes down Lugoff-Elgin 14-10. What are some quick storylines there in the lower half of the bracket before we move on to 4A?
Yeah, I kept hearing the Wando Conway score all night. That game was tight all the way through. So nice, impressive win there by Wando to hang on. And I tell you what, the true, I'd say, low country teams, Fort Dorchester, Berkeley, Goose Creek, Summerville, they all really took care of business tonight.
They did.
Berkeley was up, I think, 33-0 at the half. Fort Dorchester had a little bit of a slow start. It was 6-0 early, and then they worked it up, maybe 18-0 at the half. Then they started to pull away in the second half. Goose Creek, they exploited a South Lawrence team that lost a lot of talent apparently last year. And Summerville, that's a game that I followed tonight from start to finish. That was one heck of a ball game. They were very gritty performance by those guys down at McKissick Field tonight.
Yeah, so we'll roll through the 4A now. There's only one game that we're missing right now, John, that I don't have yet. It's that Ridgeview TR game. If you guys have seen the final score on that.
Ridgeview is on top 27-14.
Yeah.
But that game is still going. Not over yet. Ridgeview's in good shape right now, but as we can see already tonight, anything can happen.
And I think, John, 4A is where we saw more of a shakeup than any other classification, really.
Yeah, more surprises. We'll
kind of get that into a second. John, do you want to read this, or can you read my handwriting? Is that close enough for you?
I don't.
Do you understand what I did here?
I'll go with the winners. I'm not sure what the scores here are.
I'll do the score. You do that.
So Greenville
49-24.
Palmetto here. BHP a winner of York 42-27.
Yeah.
And the big time upset. We kind of. Yeah, I don't think we were brave enough to try to call it last night, but Greer gets the upset over South Point tonight, 21-14. We talked about that defense at Greer, and they came through tonight.
Yeah, and from what I heard following on with the game, there was 2 possessions late where I know South Point stopped Greer one time inside the 10-yard line, and they also picked them off in their end zone. So Greer was driving a couple times later to put on some more points too, and couldn't quite do it. But shout out to you guys checking us out. I see Haley and Chris out there, a few other viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in on Twitter and Facebook. I saw Gaffney Football, Sumter Football on here. Thank you guys for watching.
Big wins for you guys.
It. So love having you guys tune in and shoot us some feedback or some scores if you saw some. See Michael Foster in here checking us out. Thanks, Mike, for that. John, let's get back to the 4A scores here.
Yeah, so Wren keeps up with their MO of high-powered offense. They knock off Orangeburg Wilkinson tonight 56-14. Daniel a winner over Lancaster 38-6. Westwood wins tonight. Looks like that was 52-20. And
wait, no, 70-52.
70-52.
Way off there. Sorry, my handwriting.
The Mark McGuire score there from Westwood tonight. Impressive there. And Flora defeats Walhalla tonight 38-26, a game which they came back to win that game. Mm-hmm. They were down by 2 scores early.
They were down early, they were.
And then as we mentioned, Ridgeview down there in Blythewood tonight, they are up on TR 27-14. Not yet a final there at Ridgeview yet.
Yeah, anything in that top half, John, besides the Greer game that really stands out to you? I think everything kind of held like we thought. We thought that East Side Westwood game was going to be a great ball game, and obviously it was. That turned out to be maybe one of the ball games of the night there, it sounds like, as we kind of go into the lower half here, John. 1 seed Lower Richland hangs on to beat Marlboro County, an at-large team, 20-14. Airport beats Colleton County 21-14. Which those 2 games there, John, just look at them. You're kind of surprised to see a 1 seed and a 2 seed struggle against a 2-8 team and a 3-7 team like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's got to that can't be great for those guys moving forward in the playoffs as far as kind of just predicting how far they're going to go when you struggle with a team like that in round 1.
Yeah, and Marlboro County is a 4. That's a tough 4.
Mm-hmm. They are.
That's one of those brand names. You expect a Marlboro County team, and this is a Lower Richland program that's not used to being in this position. This is a basketball school predominantly, so a little bit uncharted territory for Lower Richland. Yeah,
so we'll go to the lower half. Keep going with that. Myrtle Beach, they were in trouble early. They were down 25-20. I saw the Luke Doty, the quarterback, went out, did not come back in. We were unsure of his status. We don't know if he's going to be ready to go next week or if he may be out for the playoffs. I don't really know, John. Did you hear anything else as far as his injury goes and
I did
how
not.
serious
I
that
don't know
might
what
be?
the severity is there.
Okay, well that's got to worry those guys. They were down 5 points at half. We thought for a while we may see a 1 seed go down in round 1. Didn't happen, obviously, but because
not just a 1 seed, the number 1 team in the state.
Yeah, they ended up blowing out Lakewood and State half 63-31. This has my bet for game of the night, the game that I was checking out. North Myrtle Beach takes down North Augusta 38-31 in triple overtime, John. That was one of the games that we had a big discussion about last night. We're going to get into some breakdowns of that in a few minutes here. But Chiefs hold on 38-31. Brooklyn KC gets a bye. Wilson beats Hilton Head Island, another upset there that we kind of called 40-28. Buford gets a bye. And then Hartsville comes back to beat South Aiken 28-16. Another one of those teams that struggled with a 2-8 team tonight, John. South Aiken has some playmakers, but you don't want to see Hartsville struggling and only winning by 12 over South Aiken in round 1.
Yeah, and then they'll have to go on the road, a long road trip down to Buford. So, that's got to get Hartsville a little bit on the edge going into next week.
Yeah, so going to 3A scores now, John. I think we've got all of these. If you want to take the upper state for us here, we can do that and then kind of roll in the lower state. I see Brett and Randy checking us out. Thank you guys for watching us. Check us out on Movin the Chains on Twitter, MOVINCHAINS. Check us out on Facebook, obviously, Movin the Chains SC. We've got a lot of viewers on both right now, so thank you guys for following us wherever we are. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spreaker. If we got an audio-only version, you're going to check that out. So be sure to do that. One quick shout-out to our sponsor, the Georgia Agency. These guys make this possible. They help us travel to the games and be able to afford to get there, be able to get some snacks while we're there. That really helps. I'm a big concession stand guy, so that helps a lot. So if you need insurance for yourself or your business or for your family, feel free to call Bradley and Richard and the crew there. Check them out at georgiaagency.net online. Give them a shout for all your insurance needs. And a quick shout out to our other sponsor, Always on Top Clothing, Always on Top Brand. Get your shirts now. If you're a Tar Heels fan, you need one of these to prove to the Gamecocks that you guys are always on top. So check them out on Facebook and Instagram. John, let's get rolling with the 3A scores here if you're ready to go with the upper half.
Yeah, so in the upper state, Pendleton a winner tonight over Southside. A little bit closer game than expected, 23-12 there. Woodruff over Indianland 49-7. Chapman continues to roll. They defeat Liberty 54-7 in that game. Newberry, a shocker.
Maybe the second biggest upset. Maybe the second biggest upset of the night right there, John.
They defeat the Chester Cyclones 14-7.
So defending state champs are out in 3A.
That's gotta, and we were talking about that. The lower states gotta like that. Gotta like that competition going on in the upper state here early. We have Union County a winner over Fairfield Central tonight, 21-13, and we thought this game would be close.
Yeah, that's a good win. I don't care if Fairfield Central's a 4-seed or not. That's a good victory there for Union County.
Yeah, Fairfield Central, a team that seemed to start to put it together toward the end of the season, toward that back half there. Chesney a winner over Seneca tonight, 25-13. Another bit of an upset there as well. That's a 3-seed over a 2-seed. Camden a big winner tonight over Clinton, 43-14. And I say big because a lot of good teams had some trouble tonight here in 3A.
Yep, they did.
Camden was able to take care of business. And then the final game in the upper state bracket, Broome over Powersville, 45-21. No big surprise there, but hey, hats off for Powersville getting to the playoffs and scoring a couple points. Somewhat competitive game. At least for first half, maybe 3 quarters.
Yeah, I think that the upper state in 3A, the shocker has to be that Newberry Chester game. That's the one that really jumps out to me. It's the only one I think that didn't really, that really did surprise us there, John. So I guess we write this score in here, and then we'll have that for the 2A.
And Newberry not far removed from their state championship appearance either.
That's true.
They played Dillon maybe 3-4 years ago down at River Bluff High School for the state championship. So Newberry, a good program. They know what it takes, or at least that staff knows what it takes to get to Columbia. Yeah,
so lower state in 3A. A shocker here, John. Sherrall knocks off Manning. We talked about how that Sherrall program, had a potential to do that. You see on 1 seed in Manning with only a 7-3 record. That's not one of the stronger 1 seeds, and now as they prove that tonight as they lose to Sherrall 34-12. Strom Thurmond handles their business against Battery Creek 44-14. Ainer beats Georgetown 42-13. May River beats Swansea 59-20. Gilbert beats Ridgeland Hardyville 56-6. Lake City wins a tight win over Bishop England 14-7. Wade Hampton beats Edisto 42-13, and Dillon has no problems with Walkmall 61-6. John, no big shockers there besides Sherrall for me in the lower state in 2A. Anything that jumps out to you there, or in 3A, excuse me?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised in the Strom Thurmond Battery Creek game. I thought Battery Creek would give them a little bit better of a game. Impressive win by Strom Thurmond winning that game 44-14. That's pretty impressive in my book. And now they'll get to host Sherrall in the second round.
That's true.
Pretty good news there. Pretty good news there for Strom Thurmond.
Yeah. A couple new viewers got a couple comments there. Sharita says, big Sumter win. That's right, 45-7. Chris talking about Abbeville scoring 85. We'll get that in a second. That was a huge night for them. Gaffney Sumter will be a big game next week for sure. So, John, let's go into 2A upper state here. I've got all of these except for Buford C.A. Johnson and St. Joe's Lee Central. Do you have those in 2A by chance?
Buford C.A. Johnson, they were tied 36-36.
Okay.
Last score update I saw on that one.
Okay. Well, if you want to run through those, I'll look for this St. Joe's score. If you can give the other upper state ones for us.
Yeah, we've got everything else except for that Buford C.A. Johnson game still in progress.
Okay.
Southside Christian takes care of business tonight over 96, 49-7. It's strange to see that 96 program is a 5 seed getting booted like that in the first round. Batesburg-Leesville a winner tonight over Central 20-6. Saluda defeats Blacksburg 42-6, and Saluda will take on the winner of that C.A. Johnson-Buford game. Abbeville, as we mentioned earlier, winners tonight over Louisville 85-22.
I don't care who you're playing. 85 is unbelievable.
Louisville may be impressive. They scored as many points as players that they have.
Yeah. So apparently Louisville has 21 players. Basically, everybody plays both ways. So crazy to see them even in the playoffs for one. But
yeah, so
they got beat pretty handily tonight.
Tough night for those guys. They had a tough night having to go both ways against an Abbeville team.
Yep.
Andrew Jackson looks very good tonight as they won over Christchurch 52-0 in a game that I'm pretty excited about in the 2A bracket with Abbeville and Andrew Jackson next week.
Mm-hmm.
Gray Collegiate, they shut out Christchurch, Gray Collegiate knocked out Fox Creek 42-7.
And John, I heard tonight, apparently the QB at Gray Collegiate has 3,500 passing yards on the season. So they've got one of the most prolific passing offenses in SC high school football history, it sounds like. That kid has been slinging it all over the field all season long.
Good for them.
I kind of want to go see that air raid happen down there.
Yeah, no kidding. And then they will take on St. Joseph's next week, who knocked off Lee Central tonight 42-13.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we've got that going on there, and I've got all in the lower state except for Burke and Eau Claire.
I can get you there.
Okay, I saw Burke was up big. I didn't see a final on that. So we've got Timberland beating Latta 41-7. Sorry, Vikings, and Hunter Allen. Sorry, buddy. Bamberg Earhart completed a wide receiver pass, hook and ladder for a win as the buzzer goes off to beat Mullins 20-16. You guys, I think we tweeted this video out on our Twitter page at Movin the Chains. You need to go see this highlight of what happened to win this game. If it's not, we'll try to hoot it out later. We'll probably put them on the Facebook page as well. But you guys want to see what happened to end that game and the Bamberg Earhart win. Barnwell has no problem with Hannah Pamplico 55-6. Like you said, Burke was a winner over Eau Claire, right, John?
Yeah, that score was 44-14 Burke.
Okay. We've got Calhoun County 34-28 over Johnsonville. Woodland handles East Clarendon 42-14. Oceanside Collegiate, kind of the talk of the town, all week with their forfeits and whatnot. They, should be number one seed themselves, but they go on the road and knock off the number one seed they're now playing, Andrews, 58-36, and then Whale Branch upsets Philip Simmons 36-10. John, that lower half of 2A, I think everything kind of played out like we thought it would. We thought Oceanside would beat Andrews.
Yeah. Really
just, it's terrible for Andrews, and that's how it worked out. They got that draw there. I think Bamberg Earhart, I didn't know what to expect in that game, really. They seemed pretty even teams. Them and Mullins, us and them win is not a huge surprise there. But I think the lower state of 2A pretty much stayed to chalk, kind of what we thought would happen going into the week.
Yeah, and we've got a final here. Buford survives their scare with C.A. Johnson. They are winners tonight, 43-34 over the Green Hornets. So they will take on Saluda next week.
Okay, good ball game there. And John, so this is the one that I've got the most holes in so far. Is this single A bracket?
So I don't
know what you've got. I've got about 4 scores. If you guys out there have any single A scores for us, send it over. I know we're missing Lakeview, Denmark, Olar, Ware Shoals, Hunter Kennard, Tyler, McCormick, Wilson, Elko, and McBee and Dixie.
I've got most of those. We don't have Lakeview, Denmark, Olar, and we do not have Hemingway, Scotch
I've got
Branch.
Hemingway. Scotch Branch beat them last night, actually 36-7.
There we go.
So if you roll through that, I'll search for this Lakeview score right quick and see if I can pull that one from somewhere as you're going through the single A.
All right, so we'll start up top with Upper State. Rich Spring Minetta shuts out Great Falls tonight, 47-0. They will go on the road next week to play Whitmire, the number 9 team in the state. McBee, they shut out Dixie tonight, 30-0. They will go on the road and take on Blackville Hilda. Ware Shoals is a winner over Hunter Kennard Tyler, 20-12. They are on the road against Lamar. McCormick defeats Williston Elko 56-35. They will take on the number one team in the state, Wagner Sally, next week. Down in the lower state, Cross, they shut out Military Magnet 36-0. They will go to Baptist Hill next Friday. We are waiting on the Lakeview Denmark Olar.
So I just found that one. Lakeview dominates 54-12. Lakeview with the win tonight.
Big win by Lakeview there. They will go to Branchville next week. And Scotch Branch, as we said, was a winner over Hemingway tonight. They will travel to C.E. Murray. And St. John's, in a defensive battle, they win 6-0 over Bethune-Bowman tonight. And they will travel to the favorite, or at least favorite in the lower state, Green Sea Floyds, for that second round matchup.
Got a couple more comments. We got Kim and Chris both getting in with the St. Joe score. Appreciate that. Chris sent us a couple links. Check out some more scores at. We got Ansel in here checking out. We've got a few more viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in on whether it's Facebook or Twitter. We appreciate it. If we're on Twitter at Movin Chains, MOVINCHAINS, at Movin the Chains SC on Facebook, or just Movin the Chains. You can email us at movingthechainsSC. You can check us out on YouTube. if you want an audio only version while you're driving, to work or to wherever tomorrow. Maybe you're going to Raleigh for the Clemson game or going to Columbia for the Carolina game. Listen to us on a podcast version while you're heading down there. Check us out on Google and Apple and all that stuff. So appreciate you guys tuning in to our round one of the playoffs kind of recap show. I know if you haven't seen our previews that we did Wednesday and Thursday this week, be sure to go back and watch that. We did a 2A, 1A, 2A, 3A on Wednesday night, and a 4A, 5A last night. We had some really good info and insight, at least we thought it was on there, John. I thought it was good insight and info.
We made a couple misfires there, but that's what makes it fun.
It is. So while since we're done going through these scores for now, we'll go back in a second. John, you want to do a quick recap of Summerville Lugoff-Elgin for us?
Yes, so this is a game, Lugoff-Elgin, an 0-10 program last year. They go 4-6 this year, good enough to earn themselves a spot in the playoffs to play historic Summerville. First time these two teams have ever met, and I was listening to the Summerville broadcast on the game down from McKissick Field, and it was a defensive struggle to begin with. The last play of the first quarter was Summerville's first down of the game.
Oh, wow.
They had more of a prolific offense, though, where they were mixing up the run and the pass, whereas Lugoff really kind of out-physicaled Summerville, but they were committed to running that I formation, running the ball up the middle, so really not moving, not taking big chunks of yards early in that game. Summerville was able to hit a big 65-yard touchdown pass in the second quarter. They took a 7-0 lead going into the second half. Lugoff had a great drive there in the third quarter, tied the game up at 7, and then the fourth quarter got really, really wild.
Okay.
Or I guess it was early in the fourth quarter. Lugoff-Elgin scored that touchdown to make it 7-7. They kick off to Summerville, and it was a 80-yard drop. Big drive by Lugoff-Elgin going down the field. Kick off to Summerville. Summerville takes the ball to the 28. First play, fumble. Lugoff-Elgin gets it. They've got all the momentum. They're at the 24-yard line. About 10 minutes left in the ball game. First play, interception by Summerville.
Oh,
and
wow.
they take it back to about midfield, but they got a block in the back. Brought them back all the way to the 10. First play from scrimmage for Summerville. Bad, just throws it deep, throws it up in the air. Lugoff-Elgin picks it off again. So now they've got the ball at the 45. 3 turnovers just like that in the fourth quarter. Lugoff-Elgin was able to drive down. We're not able to get anything there. And then with 3:43 left in the game, Lugoff-Elgin got the ball all the way down to the 1-yard line. They set up to go for it. Call timeout. They come back out with the field goal unit. They kick the field goal to go up 10-7. They kick off. Summerville almost breaks it. They get it out to the 28, and they proceed to go 72 yards down the field, methodically moving the chains. And then,
hey, I see what you did there.
Yeah. And then they get down inside the 5-yard line with under 40 seconds to play. They get down to the 1. Ball came out. They said ground caused the fumble, so they marked him down at the 1. It was a 3rd and 1 with, I think, 28 seconds on the clock when they snapped it. They still had 1 timeout left. They punched it in, kicked the extra point, so they're up 14-10. 21 seconds left. You got a Lugoff-Elgin team that just wants to run the ball, I formation. This is not the position they want to be in.
Right.
They kick off. Lugoff-Elgin almost breaks it. They take it all the way up to their own 45-yard line. They hit a pass over the middle for about 10 yards. Call a timeout. They got 4 seconds off the clock. In Summerville territory, throw a Hail Mary inside the 10, and Summerville is able to knock it down and hang on. But a 14-10 final for Summerville is the winner. But the game that Lugoff-Elgin came out, they were physical.
Yeah.
They kind of pushed Summerville around a little bit. Running backs, put on some hard hits, and they really made Summerville earn it. Getting those 14 points. It was a great game, hard-fought game, and other than those 3 turnovers right there in that quick spurt, a pretty well-played game. Right at the end of the first half, there was a lot of pushing and shoving. The referees let it go. They didn't throw flags, but then as soon as they came out in the second half, it went the entire game. It seemed like at least 1 or 2 plays a drive.
Oh, wow.
There were some extracurriculars after. There were 2 occasions where offsetting dead ball, personal fouls were called. Nothing too serious, but definitely a chippy game. You know, that goes to show, you know, these kids, you know, they really care. This might be a 4-6 and 6-4 team.
That's what's so tough this time of the year. I mean,
They
you
care
see
about it.
so many of these kids, they're just never going to play football again. Like, this was their last shot. These seniors did not want to lose tonight, so you see a lot of that. A couple comments from Chris here. The previous shows were awesome. Thanks, man. We appreciate that. We worked hard on those. He also said Summerville struggling this year, probably won't make it past round 2. Yeah, they got a tough matchup with Goose Creek next week for sure. But you know, it should be a team they're somewhat familiar with, I would think. From down the area, so we'll see how that turns out for them. But one more score I wanted to get out was a Skeeza score here, John. PD Academy beats Dorchester 49-21. The Eagles will play against Thomas Hayward next week in the semifinals of Skeeza Class 2A there. So I'm going to give a quick recap of the game that I was checking out all night long was North Myrtle Beach, North Augusta. Final North Myrtle Beach 38-31 in triple overtime. You know, I learned a couple things tonight about this, John. So North Myrtle Beach was on a 4-game losing streak going into the playoffs. I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
I know you mentioned they're a good quarterback last year. Also didn't realize he's a Shrine Bowl guy, but as a running back. Actually.
Okay.
So he's a super good runner, and we saw that right off the bat. First drive, North Myrtle Beach comes out, drives right down the field, no problems at all. Takes it in, touchdown. You know, they come back. North Augusta scores a touchdown, misses an extra point, so they're up 7-6. Myrtle Beach gets up 14-6 after a touchdown pass, and this is where North Augusta kind of had. You see some trends of what happened all game long for those guys. They went for it on 4th down, couldn't get it, and then they have a quick 3-and-out, so you know keep momentum on their side. And they get a personal foul on 3rd down, John. 3rd and long, personal foul gives North Myrtle Beach, a automatic first down. Two passes later, 56-yard touchdown pass. So the guy just gets lost behind them, and they go up 21-6. But you know, North Augusta fought back. They were driving late in the first half, had their QB Bradley Godwin go down with an injury late in the first half. A sophomore comes in, Austin Harrell, completes the drive and throws a touchdown pass right before half ends. Get the Yellow Jackets down 21-13, 1.5. They get the ball and start the second half. They drive down. Another theme of the game was botched snaps. They missed extra point earlier. They botched a snap here on a field goal. Don't even get the kickoff, so turn it right back over to North Myrtle Beach. But that North Augusta defense really figured it out. They didn't give up any points after the half until overtime. Really, the Harrell kid comes back with a crazy TD play late in the third. So he throws a deep touchdown or throws a touchdown pass to Jordan Wilburn, one of the best receivers, 2021 class in the state. It'd be fun to watch him next year as he develops. But so he's streaking to the end zone, gets stripped about the 1-yard line. Ball goes into the end zone. You've got a crazy mad scrum, and finally North Augusta comes out with it for the touchdown. They get a 2-point conversion, tied up 21-all going into the fourth quarter there. Really, that North Augusta team, they fought hard. Like I said, they lost a quarterback, had a sophomore in there. Their running back had been sick all day, throwing up all day with some kind of stomach bug. He was in and out. They had a sophomore running back playing a lot for them, but just lots of big penalties. And there's so many big plays North Augusta had on offense, and maybe they had a personal foul that brings it back or whatever it is. Or same thing on defense, like we said, they stopped them. They get a personal foul to give North Myrtle Beach the ball back. But so then we get into overtime, which is where things really got crazy, if you can imagine. So first overtime, Yellow Jackets come out and they hold North Myrtle Beach to a field goal. And I don't know if you guys know how high school overtime works or not, but it's basically a 10-yard line. Right. You can kick a field goal, you can score a touchdown, whatever. You get the ball at the 10, kind of goes from there. So holding to a field goal. North Augusta first play runs it down to the 2-yard line. Like, okay, looking good here. Second play gets about the half-yard line. Then on 3rd and goal, they run a QB sneak. The guy gets in. He scores on the QB sneak. All of a sudden, you see a flag come out. Illegal shift on a QB sneak. How do you throw on a QB sneak, John? I didn't see a replay of this. You know, maybe the refs called something else, but obviously, you know, you don't get the mics.
So, I guess it was a guy on the outside. It had to be, right?
I guess, because you don't get mics in high school football. So maybe something else is what he called. Because I don't know how you call an illegal sneak on illegal shift on a QB sneak when nobody's moving. Like, that makes no sense to me. But anyway, have to settle for a field goal. They trade touchdowns the next possession. Lewis runs one in, the QB for North Myrtle Beach. Harold, QB for North Augusta, runs one in. Then the third overtime, Lewis runs another one in, and then North Augusta goes backwards on their first play and just can't get anything going. They have to try it on 4th down and can't get it. So crazy game there with the Chiefs winning 38-31 in triple overtime. It'll be interesting to see how they can match up next week against Myrtle Beach, John, especially if Doty is there or not there. We don't really know what's going on with him.
And, tough that, North Myrtle Beach, Myrtle Beach has got to be pretty excited what North Augusta did, because that's got to be draining and physically tough.
Yeah,
on those guys at North Myrtle Beach.
And I think North Augusta,
right back around.
They probably gave the game plan for how to stop North Myrtle Beach. I mean, after that, like I said, they had a few big drives in the first half, but after that, they got nothing the second half. They were just stonewalled. So I think the Yellow Jackets may have shown the Seahawks kind of how to game plan against those guys a little bit, but
it'll certainly be good film for those Myrtle Beach coaches to review.
Yes, for sure. For sure. So, John, let's roll through the scores again one more time.
So we've got all finals now.
Do we have everything now?
All finals.
Perfect. One game, I think I'm still maybe missing one here and there, but I think you and I combined have got pretty much everything, so that's good. Is the stream still working for everybody? Because I kind of lost it on one screen here, but I've got it on the other two, so I just want to make sure maybe
I think we're good.
Maybe my computer's
looks like
up.
we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good too. But anyway, so Movin the Chains on Twitter, MovinChains. Movin the Chains on Facebook as well. Check us out there, Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to consume your scores. We're there for you, John. Tell your friends, comment, like, share. We want everybody to check us out. We want this show to get bigger and bigger. So help us out by telling some more people, please. So, John, you run through the 5A, and I'll do 4A, and we'll just kind of rotate if that works for you.
Yeah, so Lawrence a winner tonight over Blythewood, as they will now host Burns, who won 48-34 tonight over Nation Ford. A little bit closer to the game than we expected. For Burns there at Nixon Field, but nonetheless they get through, and we've got a Lawrence-Burns matchup for next week, which could be pretty exciting.
Yep.
Sumter a winner 45-7 over Woodmont tonight, and Gaffney with the upset 27-6 over Rock Hill. They're in Rock Hill. So that sets up a Gaffney-Sumter game that will be very exciting next week there in Sumter County. Dorman a winner tonight over Greenwood, 35-0 for the Cavaliers. They will host Spring Valley next week, who defeated Westside 37-0. It's a big win there for Spring Valley.
No, 37-35. Yeah, 37-35.
37-35 there. Clover defeats Boiling Springs tonight. They will get to host Malden, who got the upset down in Anderson tonight over TL Hanna. They win that game 41-38. So congrats to the Mavericks for taking down a powerhouse here in the Upstate. That'll set up Malden going to Clover next week. In the Lower State, Dutch Fork does exactly what we expect. They take care of Chapin. They will host Wando, who knocked off Conway in a really close game. Close game start to finish there in Conway. Wando with a bit of an upset there. Fort Dorchester rolls over Lexington. That sets up a matchup next week against Berkeley, who shut out West Florence 46-0. That game will be in Fort Dorchester. It should be in Fort Dorchester. We look at the bracket here.
Yep, they're the one seed.
And the way they have it set up, they say that the bottom team will be the home team, but that Fort Dorchester will get to host that game. And Carolina Forest is a winner tonight over Cane Bay. They will host River Bluff next week, who knocked off West Ashley. Goose Creek, they roll against South Florence tonight, and that sets up a game against Summerville, who had just a really, really tough, gritty performance, beating Lugoff-Elgin 14-10 down at McKissick Field.
Yeah, got a couple comments over here, John. Chris gets in there and says, do we think Malden can beat Clover next week? I do. I mean, if you pull off an upset like Malden did tonight, I mean, that gives you a lot of momentum. And then there's kind of some, I don't know if you guys remember, there was kind of a weird situation. I think Malden thinks they kind of owe Clover one from back in, I think, 08 or 09 playoffs. Kind of a weird situation down there in that one. I think the Mavericks can certainly go on the road and beat Clover. I mean, I know they destroyed Bowling Springs tonight, but Bowling Springs is not, I mean, they're not much. I think everybody's known all year that the Bulldogs aren't that good. So
what gives me a little bit more, if you had asked me yesterday, hey, if Malden wins, could they beat Clover? Probably not. And the reason I would have said that is because when we watched Malden play earlier this year, their offense just looked all out of sorts. No rhythm, no kind of identity. Scoring 41 points tonight at TL Hanna
on the road.
That gives me a little bit more confidence that maybe they can give Clover a little run for their money.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to go with Clover, but I think they got a shot. Impressive performance offensively for Malden. That gives me some hope for the Mavericks next week.
Yeah, a couple more comments and viewers. Got Brett and Hunter checking us out. Hunter said, "Did y'all see the Bamberg Mullins ending?"
Yeah.
Yes, that was wild. So if you guys,
Crazy.
anybody has not seen that, it's on our Twitter page. We're going to share it on Facebook here in a minute too. But yeah, I wonder how much of that was drawn up, John, and how much of that was, just flip it to the right guy. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if that was the exact play because it looked pretty clean if it was.
It
did a very good
looked
job.
like they practiced that a lot. Because I think, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but, at one point, I thought there was more green grass to go.
Yeah.
And they made the play to lateral it.
Yep.
But, yeah, I think they practiced that one quite a bit.
Yeah, one more comment from Chris said the Gaffney win was not an upset. Chris, I agree with you. I picked Gaffney to win. John didn't think so. I thought the Indians was going to win, and I can't wait to see how Sumter and the Indians match up next week. John, let's go into 4A. I've got everything except for Ridgeview, so if you can go out and in there for me when I get to it, that would be awesome. So, Greenville, the 1 seed, knocks off Palmetto 49-24. BHP handles York and Dean Boyd 42-27. No problems there. Biggest upset of the night, probably Greer knocks off number 1 seed 10-0 South Point 21-14. Wren, no problems with OW 56-14 there. Daniel 38-6 over Lancaster. Westwood 70-52 over Eastside. I've told you guys, I think John said it too, that was going to be a great ball game. 2 high-scoring teams. I'm surprised that Eastside, lost by 18 points there, but
After 20-52.
seems like a good ball game out there for sure. AC Floor comes back to beat Walhalla 38-26, and then do you have the Ridgeview
Yeah,
final?
so Ridgeview started stretched out there late. They defeat Travelers Rest 33-14.
Hey, that is closer than it was last year. I think 70 points got put on TR last playoffs, so better for them this time around.
That'll set up a Midlands game next week with Floor and Ridgeview.
Yeah, so Lower State here 4A. Lower Richland beats Mulberry County 20-14. Airport beats Colleton 21-14. Myrtle Beach beats Lakewood without Luke Doty 63-31. North Myrtle Beach beats North Augusta 38-31 in triple overtime. Brooklyn Casey had a bye. Wilson beats Hilton Head Island 40-28. Buford had a bye, and then Hartsville comes from behind to beat South Aiken 28-16. That's all for 4A, John.
Yeah, pretty good stuff. So a little bit of a shake-up in the upper state bracket for sure.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be a lot of questions in the lower state bracket with some injuries tonight.
Yeah, for sure. So you want to run through 3A here, and then I'll get back into 2A?
Sure. Before we do that, what game in 4A? I'm looking at this bracket here. Mm-hmm. Some pretty cool matchups for next week. Which one are you looking forward to most?
Man, I think that Daniel Westwood game is going to be awesome in the top half. Really,
yeah.
If we go game by game here, Greenville BHP, I'm not sold on either one of these teams. That doesn't really excite me there. Greer Wren, I think even with Greer with this big win tonight, I think Wren's offense is going to be a little too high powered for those guys.
I tell you what, I like our dark horse pick of Wren a lot better now.
It looks a lot better tonight, does it not? That looks good for those guys. Daniel Westwood, I think, would be great. In AC Flora, we kind of talked some trash about Walhalla last night. So that score against Walhalla kind of worries me. If maybe AC Flora is not as good as we thought they were, or maybe Walhalla is just better than we realized. I don't really know. But that 38-26 win for AC Flora gives me a little bit of a pause. It makes me feel a little bit better about my Ridgeview pick.
Yeah,
so kind of moving on there.
How we talked about earlier this week, it's hard to gauge these more of a Midlands team against an upper state team that really had no common opponents.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I saw tonight, Lugoff-Elgin ran the I formation. They came down and played Summerville, and Summerville guys were saying, hey, Summerville's never seen this.
What is this? Yeah.
Summerville's never seen this all year.
Yep.
So, a little bit different styles of play they see. So it's pretty cool to see it match up.
Yep. Lower half, I think, just the battle at the beach is going to be awesome. North Myrtle Beach and Myrtle Beach.
Especially with the uncertainty with Doty.
Yeah, I think if Doty plays, I think Myrtle Beach probably cruises there. But if he doesn't, North Myrtle Beach, they put out a tough win tonight. Who knows what might happen there? And after that, I think that Brooklyn KC Wilton game could be really sneaky good there.
That'd be an exciting game, I think. I think that'll be a very exciting game. Wilson had to go on the road tonight a long way down to Hilton Head Island, won by 2 scores.
Yep.
So that's pretty impressive. I tell you, I think I'm really excited about Wren.
Mm-hmm.
I think they roll in that game, but I'm just excited to see how they can progress through the bracket now. But yeah, I think the 2 games definitely put the red flag by. It'll be Daniel Westwood and, of course, the battle for Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, a couple more comments there from Hunter. Says, yeah, it's definitely not the first time that Bamberger's run that play. I think he's right about that. Chris says the Midlands teams don't play the competition the Upstate teams play. I think that's certainly probably true. In 4A especially, I think there's just not as many 4A teams around that area. Then we got a few new viewers. I see Jordan in there, a few other guys. Thank you guys for tuning in and checking us out on Movin the Chains on Facebook and Twitter. Also on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you want us to be, we're there for you. John 3A, do you want me to run through that or do you want to do it right quick?
Yeah, I'll go through it.
Perfect.
So I don't have all the scores, but we have all the winners here.
If you need a score, I can fill that in for you if you need to.
Pendleton defeated Southside tonight is the 1 seed.
23-12.
Woodruff over Indiana.
Yep, 49-7.
So that will set up a Pendleton-Woodruff matchup next week in Pendleton.
Mm-hmm.
Chapman knocks off Liberty,
54-7.
Per usual there. Newberry with the upset over Chester tonight.
Second biggest upset in the state, I think, behind the Greer game there, 14-7.
So nice win there by the Bulldogs in Newberry. Union County, a winner in a close game, and I think that's a good win, even though it's a 1-4 game. I think that's a really good win by Union County over Fairfield Central tonight. I believe that was
21-13. 21-13. Sorry, a one-score ball game.
Chesney, they defeat Seneca tonight on the road in a 3-2 matchup. Camden takes care of business over the Clinton Red Devils tonight. Big win there for
43-14. Not even close in that one.
A big margin there for Camden anyway. So good sign there for Camden. And Broome knocks off Powersville as we expected.
Yep, 45-21.
So that will set up Broome going to Camden, Chesney going to Union County, Newberry going to Chapman, which now that game's got a little bit more intrigue with it.
A little bit.
After,
because really,
Newberry's won tonight.
I don't even like waiting for this whole bracket to say this. I think this top half might be a little bit boring next week, John. Like, even these games like a Camden and Broome, that doesn't do much for me.
No.
I think Pendleton Woodruff doesn't do much for me. Union Chesney maybe, but I think Union's clearly the better team there.
I think Union's going to.
So I think this top half, the upper state of 3A, is going to be kind of ho hum next week.
Oh well, and that lets us completely focus on Chapman Newberry then.
Yeah.
Because that game, it could be another 56-7 game for Chapman.
Yep.
But maybe not. Maybe not. That's why they play.
Lower state, we had the big upset of Sherrill over Manning, 34-12. Strom-Thurmond taking care of Battery Creek easily, 44-14. Ainer 42-13 over Georgetown. May River 59, Swansea 20. Gilbert 56-6 over Richland Hardyville. Lake City wins a close one, 14-7 over Bishop England. Wade Hampton 42-13 over Edisto, and Dillon 61-6 over Waccamaw. Now I think this bottom half was where we see the good game 3 next week, John.
Yeah, I think Ainer May River has got a little bit of intrigue to it after May River really, really put it on Swansea United 59-20 in that game. And I love Ainer because of that Dillon game, but part of me thinks, am I putting too much stock in that
Right.
win? And Strom-Thurmond's going to be excited.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Wade Hampton Dillon. I think Dillon is probably a step above Wade Hampton, but that Wade Hampton program has got some history. They've been good for several years now, John, at this 3A level. Maybe they play up and give Dillon a scare next week.
Yeah, and I think, and we've talked about this before, schools like Wade Hampton have to be saying to themselves, hey, if Ainer can do it, why not? Why can't we do it too? And everybody has got that film.
Yep.
They know how Ainer did it. So I think that's going to give everybody that plays Dillon some confidence too.
Yep, so on to 2A now. We've got all these, I think, also now, John, do we not?
We do.
Yep, okay, awesome. Southside Christian 49-7 over 96. Batesburg Leesville 20-6 over Central. Beaufort 43-34 over C.A. Johnson. Saluda 42-7 over Blacksburg. Abbeville 85-22 over Louisville. Andrew Jackson 52-0 over Christchurch. Gray Collegiate 42-7 over Fox Creek, and they will play St. Joe's, who wins 49-27 over Lee Central. Lower State Timberland 41-7 over Latta. Bamberg-Earhart pulls off the flea flicker, reverse pass, flicking ladder, whatever you want to call it, to win 20-16 over Mullins to match up with Timberland next week. Barnwell 55-6 over Hannah Pamplico. What was that Burke final there, John? Do you have that?
The final at Burke was 44-14 over the Eau Claire Shamrocks.
Okay. Calhoun County 34-28 over Johnsonville. Woodland 42-14 over East Clarendon. And Oceanside Collegiate, playing as a 4 seed, knocks off Andrews 58-36, and then Whale Branch upsets Philip Simmons 36-10. What are you looking forward to in 2A next week, John?
It may be just the logo on the helmet, But I'm a little bit excited about Batesburg, Leesville, Southside Christian.
Yeah.
Next week, I think. Again, this is, and we talk about, hey, and I totally agree. The Midlands competition isn't quite what the Upper State is,
Mm-hmm.
but Batesburg, Leesville is still a good program, and it could be a little bit of a different look than what Southside Christian has seen all year. I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
what kind of scheme and offense that Batesburg, Leesville runs, but it could be a little bit of a different flavor than they're used to, and I think it's got a little bit of curve appeal to it. And of course, I talked about Andrew Jackson earlier this week, how I love them, and they won big tonight. I still think that game against Abbeville could be Abbeville's toughest game here in the Upper State bracket.
Yeah.
And one more thing to note here. So we talked about Oceanside and the little controversy they've gone through with the four
Mm-hmm.
players that were ineligible. And I got the feeling, at least myself, I feel bad for Andrews because he got stuck with Oceanside in this first round game. But I kind of felt bad for Oceanside too. They've got all this, they get fined by the SCHS.
Big fine too, $16,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, these kids have to feel a little bit bad about it too. Listening to the Summerville game tonight, those guys at Summerville, they didn't get into it, but they were vocal that they did not care for Oceanside Collegiate.
Yeah.
So whatever, and I don't know the whole backstory behind everything that they've done, but it seems like they have not made a whole lot of friends down the Low Country.
Yeah, and if you look just at that, lower state bracket with Oceanside in it, next week doesn't really do a lot for me, John, in all honesty.
No.
I still think we're trending towards Oceanside and Barnwell for lower state here probably in a couple weeks.
Well, and next week we could see Bamberg-Earhart Barnwell, which
Yeah,
could be a very good game. Of course, Timberland's a very good team, but you can't rule out Bamberg-Earhart.
Yep. Let's roll through 1A here. Rich Spring Minetta beats Great Falls 47-0. McBee 30-0 over Dixie. Ware Shoals 20-12 over Hunter Kennard Tyler. McCormick 56-35 over Williston Elko. Cross beats Military Magnet 36-0. Lakeview beats Denmark Rolar 54-12. Scotts Branch 36-7 over Hemingway, and then St. John's 6-0 over Bethune-Bowman. Is that right, John?
That's correct.
Well, so next week we've got Whitmire, Rich Spring Minetta, McBee, Blackville Hilda, Lamar, Ware Shoals, McCormick, Wagner, Sally, Baptist Hill, Cross, Lakeview, Branchville, C.E. Murray, Scotts Branch, and St. John's, Green Sea Floyds. I'll go first on this one, John. Not a lot of games I'm looking forward to in this 1A next week besides Lakeview and Branchville.
Yeah, I think that's going to be our best game.
Yeah, besides that, I think all of the bye teams are going to win pretty handily.
Yeah, I think so too. There's just the level of talent and ability in 1A is a little more sparse, a little more spread out than the upper divisions. I think we're going to have to wait another week or two until we really see some good matchups in 1A.
Yes, that's all of our scores there. Let's give one more shout out to our sponsor, the George Agency. Check them out on Facebook. Check them out on online at thegeorgeagency.net. They've been serving insurance needs of really the state of South Carolina for 35 plus years. I mean, they can help you out with your life, your health, your personal insurance. If you're a seasonal worker or maybe you're a hospitality worker and you know the insurance through your business, give these guys a call. Open enrollment is happening now. You have to get insurance, so call them. And obviously you guys can go straight to Blue Cross Blue Shield if you want to. But why not call the George Agency? It doesn't cost any more, and you get a professional to help you out with that stuff, John. So I don't see why you
get
wouldn't
more
do
of a
it.
personal touch too.
Yeah, so give those guys a call. Or if you're a small business owner, they can help you out with your group insurance too. They've got offices in Merle's Inland and Mullins, but yet they've got clients in Seneca, in Greer, in Columbia, in Aiken, in Myrtle Beach. So all around the state, they can help you guys out. Check out Always on Top Clothing, Always on Top brand. Also our other good sponsor. Get your shirts if you're a North Carolina fan. Show that Gamecocks and Tar Heels are always on top. Also, they have a couple more cool designs coming soon. So even if you're not a Tar Heels fan, check them out and follow their page. You'll see the new stuff when it comes out. John, who's your team of the week? I think there's two.
There's
two or
really
three,
stand
two,
out.
3, 4, maybe like really good options here. I think there's a couple that are the big ones. I'll let you go first, and I'll probably take whoever you don't take. In all honesty.
Okay, I think we're thinking two of the same teams here.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to go. It's very close between these two teams, but I'm gonna go with the team that I think I was less expecting to upset, and that's the Malden Mavericks. I know it was a 4-2 matchup, But we kind of talked a little bit of trash, or at least I talked a little bit of trash about Malden.
I think Malden lost three out of their last 4 going into the playoffs, so they weren't on the greatest note going into it.
And they're in a tough region, but as I mentioned last night, they only won 1 game all year against the team that is in the playoffs. Or in the 5A playoffs, I should say.
Yep.
So I'm going with Malden because it was unexpected. I think
Right.
more unexpected in my opinion to go to Anderson and play a program like Hannah and to win a close game
in overtime.
41-38. The offense had not been the strength this year, but they come out and you pick your buddy up when he's down, right?
Yep.
That's what teamwork is. Defense had a little bit of a tougher night tonight. Offense picks it up, they win the game. So hats off to the Mavericks. Great win for those guys.
I like that pick. Good pick there.
Hey, best of luck to them against Clover next week.
Good pick. Yeah, Malden's a great option there. Obviously, you could always go with Newberry, who upsets Chester.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna have to go with Greer.
Absolutely.
I mean, a team that is 3-7 had to win last week to make it into the playoffs, and they beat the proverbial number 1 Upstate 4A team in South Point, who's 10-0.
Number 3
to
team
beat those guys on the road. Huge win for the Yellow Jackets. I mean, and who knows what this might do for their confidence. I know they've had some injuries. I think the Martin kid's out. I think the Jeter kid's not playing right now either. But that defense can play with anybody. Kearns and Holly, that D-line is as tough as I've seen all season long, John.
I think Holly's one of the best players in the Upper State. It's the way that he plays the game, the attitude and knows he has for the ball is very impressive. He's very fun to watch. And going back to my notes from last night, South Point was a team that was 5-0 against other playoff teams.
Mm-hmm.
Greer 0-3 against 4A playoff teams. So they know when to dial up when they need to.
I do want to give us some props here, John, because we talked about how when we saw South Point, they didn't really impress us. I didn't think they were the South Point of old. I didn't think they were a team that was going to win the state championship. I think we both might have actually picked somebody else in 4A at Upper State to make it to. I had Ridgeview going to Columbia, and I think you may have had Daniel.
I had Daniel. I had Daniel, and Rem was my dark horse.
Yes, I will give us a little bit of props there for kind of being on the South Point isn't so great bandwagon there. I don't know so we didn't kind of go out on the limb and pick Greer. I know we talked about Greer could give him a game.
Yeah,
but big win for the Yellow Jackets. That's all I can say. That's a huge win.
That's very impressive.
Huge win. So a couple more comments. Chris says, Oceanside trying to be an IMG Academy and a football factory.
Okay.
They got stuff going on, but I think they still play by the SCHSL rules. I think IMG does not do that. I think they don't play public school football. I don't think IMG does, if I'm correct. They play a bunch of other schools like them, I think, while Oceanside is still in the SCHSL.
Whereas IMG is considered a private school, I believe.
Right. So lots of got a lot of good viewers now. Like I said, we see Chris, Jordan, Hunter, Sheila. We've got Brett, we've got Sharita, Haley's in there, a few other great ones. So thank you guys for tuning in on Facebook and Twitter. I know we got Kim on Twitter checking us out as well. So love you guys watching us on both Movin' Chains on Twitter and Movin' the Chains on Facebook. Also, download that podcast, man. It's great to check it out there as well. So, John, one thing that we didn't do earlier, we kind of talked about some second round matchups in 4, 3, 2, and 1A. We didn't do it in 5A. So let's do that right quick, and then we'll kind of get out of here.
Yeah.
John, I don't know if we talked about it. Do we have a plan for next week? Are we going to do a kind of a preview on Tuesday, Wednesday of the next round of the playoffs? Or are we going to do a recap for next Friday night? Like, do we have a plan? If you guys are watching it and you have, you'd like us to do one thing or the other, like, let us know. Like, we're pretty flexible. So if you guys like the preview shows for, next week, let us know. If you rather have just some scores the night after, let us know that too. We're pretty flexible. So just kind of keep us in the loop as to what you guys like, and we'll kind of do it. Because I don't know, John, do you have a preference really?
Yeah, I feel like we're getting a little bit of a preview already tonight.
Yeah.
But I would love to come back next Friday and talk about what's going to happen here in these second round matchups, because there's some pretty cool matchups lined up for next week. And I'll tell you what, had a lot more drama tonight than I expected.
Yeah. So, John, looking at 5A, I'm going to run through the matchups for next week really quickly. Lawrence will host Burns. Gaffney will travel down to Sumter. Spring Valley will go to Dorman, and Clover will host Malden. In the lower state, Dutch Fork hosts Wando. Fort Dorchester will host Berkeley. Carolina Forest will host River Bluff, and Summerville will travel to Goose Creek. I think we have a lot of really good football games coming up in the 5A next week, John. I think this may be the most competitive second round classification here, and that's going to be 5A, I think. What do you think?
I think so too. We had less upsets in this, so we have more of the bigger names, more of the higher ranked teams in this bracket than the others. And we've got a lot of household brands in this bracket still too, so that makes it very exciting.
Yeah, I think if you look at the Upper State, I think Norman's going to cruise against Spring Valley. I think they're going to beat them pretty badly. But besides that, I think we've got 3 really good football games. Now, I've been pretty high on Lawrence all year. They had a tight one. They kind of had to come from behind to beat Blythewood there. But then Burns, we expect them to beat North Nation Ford pretty handily.
Yeah.
And I know that game, kind of tightened up some at the end there, but still, giving up 34 to Nation Ford is not really what I expected out of that Burns defense.
And you feel like if Burns plays the game that they played tonight against Lawrence, they could be in trouble.
They could
be in some serious trouble.
I think I'm going to take Burns there, because obviously I have Burns winning the whole damn thing, so I guess I got to take Burns. But would not be surprised if Lawrence pulls the upset. And that next matchup there, Gaffney and Sumter, John. Talk about some big time football there.
Yeah, and I've caught some flack here already, deservedly so. I talked big on Rock Hill. Then Gaffney, stuffed him.
Yeah.
So very impressive. I've got to eat my crow on that game for sure. And now Gaffney going down to Sumter. Sumter's got to see that, because we talked about last night. Sumter had a tight game with Rock Hill this year.
Yeah.
That 28-21 win over Rock Hill. So they've got to be looking at Gaffney coming in that just dominated a Rock Hill team and go, okay, we better be ready to go.
Yeah, especially I think, like we said, Gaffney's kind of getting healthy now, getting some guys back. I don't think Sumter's seen a defense and just athletes in general like what Gaffney's going to bring to the table next week.
Yeah. And they've played a number of teams that are in the playoffs, but again, we talk about that Midlands factor against the Upper State. It's a little bit different kind of football. Yeah,
and then the last one that we talked about, Clover Malden. I think Malden's going to upset them. I don't know why. I just got a feeling that Malden's going to go on to round 3. I think they're going to pull the upset over Clover next week. I'm still not sold on Clover and who they've played. I think they haven't had the toughest competition for sure.
Yeah, they've only played 2 other playoff teams.
I think Malden's going to keep it rolling next week.
I'd love to see it. If that offense can do what they did tonight, I like that pick.
Yeah,
I like that pick.
Couple more comments from Chris. Said Burns will beat Lawrence handily. I hope so for my pick's sake. I hope so for sure. He also said Fort Dorchester and Berkeley is a rematch from regular season. I don't know who won that game, John. Do you?
I would assume Fort Dorchester.
I think so. Oh, yeah, they're actually undefeated, so they had to win it. Yes, Fort Dorchester did.
And I don't know how close that game was.
Right. Chris also said he likes the previews and the recap shows. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it, man. We're trying to.
Chris. Help us out, man. You gotta.
We love your comments. That helps
here.
us. Yeah. Because a lot of times, we're looking for more to talk about. So if you can get some comments in there, it's really.
And definitely knowing more about the Lower State here too, because I feel like we have a relatively good grasp on the Upper State, but we don't get to see as many of the Midlands teams and the Lower State teams. So having that other perspective is awesome.
Yeah. So Lower State, Dutch Fork will host Wando. I think Dutch Fork wins that one easily. Fort Dorchester plays Berkeley. Chris said he thinks Fort Dorchester won by 14. I think that sounds right too, thinking back about it, actually. I think Fort Dorchester is going to win that game again. Maybe the most intriguing one to me here is Carolina Forest River Bluff. Carolina Forest kind of gets the extra day of a rest there playing last night. Yeah. But like I said, the Garcia kid at QB, the good running back they have there, I know River Bluff cruised tonight, but I think Carolina Forest is going to win that game as the 1 seed next week, John.
Yeah, I could see that. And, I always like going with the team that has the better quarterback. And really, you could say that in almost all levels.
Yeah, and Mason Garcia, like I said, as good as anybody out there, as good as anybody in the state. Probably a half step down from Luke Doty, but that's about it. Then the final game there, Goose Creek hosting Summerville. I don't know a ton about those two. I really don't. But I think Goose Creek is probably going to win that ball game.
Yeah, I learned a lot about the Summerville team following that game tonight. They've got a very good defense. They got a very athletic kid playing quarterback. They seem to be a pretty solid team. Not maybe a little bit rough around the edges. They had a gritty game tonight. And the thing that kind of scares me, and Lugoff-Elgin's a big squad, but they're not deep. The guys mentioned tonight how much you could see on the sidelines that Summerville just had more depth than Lugoff-Elgin. Yet, a large majority of the game, Lugoff-Elgin kind of pushed them around a little bit. I know that's hard to believe in a 14-10 game, but that's Lugoff's game. Let's run the ball, chew up the clock. Hey, they were winning on the road 10-7 until 21 seconds left in the game.
Yep.
So I after what Goose Creek did tonight, they proved me, another team that proved me wrong a little bit tonight. Winning very big. So I think that's probably a pretty good bet, Goose Creek. But that can be a good game, and can you get much two bigger names than Goose Creek?
No, and Chris thinks Goose Creek in a close one as well. I think he's right there. So I think that's it for it tonight, John. Do you have anything else you want to chat about before we get out of here? If you guys are watching on Twitter at Movin' Chains, appreciate it. Watching on Facebook at Movin the Chains, appreciate you guys there as well. So thank you guys for tuning in again. Any final comments, John?
No, thanks for everybody for showing up again tonight, giving us support and giving us some help on some scores and insights. Appreciate, love it all. Helps us out, makes us, a little bit more sharp.
Help share this and tell your friends. Cause I don't think any other shows are really doing a playoff kind of recap show like we are or anything. So, help and tell everybody in the lower state, in the Midlands, and the upper state, in the CSRA, we're at Rock Hill area, wherever you are. Tell your friends to check us out as well. We really appreciate it. A couple more points I want to hit on. Go check out that Bamberg Earhart play to beat Mullins.
Yes.
We're going to put it on Twitter and Facebook here, and we'll for you guys to watch. And also, shout out to the PD Academy Eagles with 49-21 victory over Dorchester. Moving on to play Thomas Hayward in the semis next week. Teams of the week, we've got Malden for John and Greer for myself. Two teams pulling big upsets and big wins for those guys. But once again, follow us on Twitter. Movin' Chains is right under John's name right there. Follow us on Facebook. Movin' Chains right under my name. You can send us an email. You can check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, wherever you want your audio version. We're on YouTube also. So wherever you guys want to go to consume our content, we try to be there for you. So
sounds good.
Yeah, I think that's it for tonight, and we will see you guys.